When you've dealt with depression and suicidal obsession your entire life, you don't fear death. You almost welcome it. The only thing I do fear is the monster inside of me. That is him. I'm Kurt Rupprecht from Forest Hill, Maryland, and I am a survivor of clergy sexual abuse. I was a normal, happy boy, wanted to be a good student, play baseball, and also we were very active and loyal to our Catholic Church. We would attend weekly, and Father McGovern, he was young, newly ordained, charismatic. He would stay after Mass, and then as kind of a special recognition, he would ask me to go back to the sacristy with him and help him with his vestments. So it was just he and I. He would remove his vestments and he would have me hold them. That was the first time where he opened his pants and exposed himself to me. He said, and then would continue to say, that this was a special privilege and it was important not to talk about it. I was 9 years old. That situation would repeat itself with increased touching and hugging. It didn't feel right, but I wanted to be a good Catholic boy. That abuse ended when he was transferred to Cambridge. And what I remember is the emotional feeling of relief that what was happening would stop. The traumatic event would occur in December of 1979. He was still in Cambridge and he called and he asked if he could come down to Salisbury and take me out for a meal. And he and I, just the two of us, to the McDonald's in Salisbury, and he bought me a Happy Meal and was again telling me how special I was and how he had made this trip just to see me. I'm feeling on top of the world. Enough time had passed that I again was feeling that special feeling of the attention he was giving me. And then it was time to go back. I remember he took my soft drink and had it refilled and had me carry it. On our way back home, he went to a remote area. He leaned over and asked if I was cold. I was holding this drink with my hands in my lap. And I said, yeah, this is cold. And he said, well, let me help you and warm you up. He then began to touch me. The one memory that I had always retained is just this locked, fixed gaze looking out over his dashboard at the windshield, not wanting to look at anything else. And the memory goes into this immediate feeling of absolute dread and fear, and then it shut off until 2017 when I recovered it. So now what I remember is, as he was molesting me, I realized no matter how special it was, this was wrong. So I said, please stop. And where it ultimately became its worst was that he flew into a rage, a manic rage, and said, what's wrong with you? This will make God happy and it'll make your parents proud. I mean, he's face to face with me. I'm terrified. He's screaming at me. And I again said, no, please stop. I was very polite, still am. He grew more enraged and put his hand on my throat and started to squeeze. I thought he was going to kill me because he started to scream right in my face, God wants you dead. This person who I had been taught from my youngest age embodied God and Jesus through him is telling me, God wants you dead. So that was God trying to kill me in my mind. For whatever reason, I guess he finally realized he wasn't going to get away with this. He stopped squeezing. but he's still holding me down with his forearm, his hands on my neck. And he's telling me, you've disappointed everyone. You've disappointed God. And he says, if you ever tell anyone, God will kill you. He eventually did back off, took me home, and tellingly enough, we never heard or saw him again. I now have that same manic reaction inside of me. If I'm triggered, it's all out rage. It's dangerous. I refer to it as the monster coming out, and it's scary. I take a combination of medications every day. I do cognitive practices every day to keep me under control. Now, I've never touched anyone else, but I have abused myself physically. I won't go into those details. There is a unique pain to this, to clergy abuse, because you feel like that spiritual power is what abused you, and that extra level of shame, it never goes away. Everything in my life has suffered internally because of this. I certainly would have enjoyed every day differently and more so. I feel I would have been more successful in my career. I could have been out contributing more, or at least just being happy. I feel it is a responsibility to speak out. As difficult and exhausting as it is, I will do it every day if necessary. I'll take those years off my life if necessary, if it helps others.